Hello, this is the Watchdog. Welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Pagani Design PD-YS018. Let's start with the wrist check. I'm wearing the Spaniard BY5208. I just reviewed this watch. If you haven't seen the review, be sure to check it out. And Grogu is wearing my Alcu LASIK 014. Grogu said that Princess Leia is quite upset with Ben Solo. He asked her what her favorite Life Day holiday special was, and she said Thomas the Tilt-Toed Tauntaun. And Ben said he thought it would be the Bipolar Express. Alright, let's take a look at the watch. It comes in this typical Pagani Design box. And Pagani Design has changed the color of their cleaning cloth. So, I don't know why they did. Their other cloth used to be perfect. So I imagine it's just cheaper because the other one was perfect, so they couldn't have made it better. And here is the watch. Not a bad looking watch. If I counted correctly, this is my 68th Pagani Design on my channel, and no other brand comes close. This is also my 4th Pagani Design Richard Mille homage, and one would think I had the subject covered. And then Pagani Design went and made this YS018, which has a true skeleton movement, unlike their other RM models, which were full of fake gears and other cosmetic shenanigans. A real Richard Mille is going to have an elaborate movement, which is often a tourbillon. You're not getting a tourbillon on a $100 Pagani Design, but this isn't your typical NH35 or 8215, as those workhorse movements aren't exactly visually appealing. The AliExpress ad says this has a SX5201 movement. I Googled it and couldn't find any information on it. This watch comes in 5 different colorways. I chose the silver color with a black strap. If you want some blue accents on the dial, you can get that with a black or blue strap. If you like a black case, you can get one with a black strap and yellow accents. If red is more of your thing, you can get a red strap and red accents. The watch is 44 millimeters wide if you measure at these plastic things on the case. It's 53 millimeters long. And it's 15 millimeters thick. It has a 23 millimeter lug width, because this actually does have lugs. And it tapers down to 20 millimeters at the buckle. And weighs 118 grams on the supplied rubber strap. The watch's bezel is brushed. And I'm pretty sure that these little screws here are all decorative, because it's really held on by these little screws here. So yeah, I don't think the bezel actually comes off. And then we have the Rehot. The Rehot hat says Pagani Design up top, and then it has the minute markers and minute counters. And then we have these little lume dots for the indices. And this is a skeleton dial, so you can see right through it. And once again, there's no fakery here. No little fake gears or anything. The gears you see are real gears of the movement. Then we have the hands. We have skeleton hands, and they have little lume tips. And they look like little chess pawns. And then we have the second hand, and the second hand does not have a lume tip. It does have a little counterbalance that looks like the eye of a needle. And there is no date on this watch. Then we have a sign, push-pull crown. The movement does not hack. And there's no date, and there's no ghost date. And then we have the crystal sapphire. Quite a bit of reflection, though. I think it's just the shape. And I don't think there's any AR coating or anything. So you get quite a bit of reflection. And then we have the case. The case is your typical Richard Mille style, except for it has these black plastic things on the side. You don't really see that on a real Richard Mille. I'm not a big fan of these. I just think it makes the watch look cheap. I wish it didn't have them, but it's not a deal breaker for me. But I do like how the case curves, because then it sits nice and flat on the wrist, because this is a 15 millimeter watch, so you don't want it to stick up at all if you don't have to. And then we have the case back. The case back is a display case back, and it's held on by these 4 little tiny screws. And it's brushed and looks nice. And then the case back itself, the display says stainless steel, 50 meters, Pagani Design. Then it has these little black accents here on the case back, but it doesn't obscure the movement at all, which is nice. And then it has a black rotor, and it's got the Pagani Design logo in the rotor. Underneath the case back is the SX5201 movement. I've never heard of this movement before. And I Googled it, and I couldn't find any information about it at all, so I do not know the joule count. I do know that it's a 3 hertz movement because I put it on the time grapher. And it does hand wind, but it does not hack. And I do not know the power reserve, and I'm not going to just sit it on a shelf and wait for it to die on me to figure out the power reserve. But I would assume it's going to be your basic 40 meters, but you never know. But anyway, let's put it on the time grapher and see how it's doing. Here it is on the time grapher. As you can see, we're running about +5, +4, +6 seconds fast. I didn't know the lift angle of this movement, so I left it on the default of 52 degrees, and it shows an amplitude of 300. So I think that's good. And then the beat error is 0, no beat error at all. So yeah, this movement is running great. It does not hack, so it doesn't matter that it's fast versus slow. But look at that. Sometimes it's coming in at +1. Sometimes it's coming in at 0. So yeah, very accurate movement. Really happy with that. The strap is made of fluorine rubber, and it feels really good. I really like this strap. It has a nice feel to it. It's not all soft and squishy like silicone, and it's not slick like silicone. Very comfortable. It does have lugs though, but they're 23 millimeters. So if you want to put a leather strap on this, you'd have to find a 23 millimeter strap. And so I'm sure you don't own any. And if you want to replace the actual Richard Mille style strap, you're going to have to get the one designed for this watch, because look at this little, how you have this little indent here. So it'd have to fit that. Then we have 2 keepers, one fixed, one floating, and the nibs that keep the fixed keeper on are pretty good, and so they do a good job keeping the keeper. And then we have a buckle, really nice buckle. These Pagani Design Richard Mille homages all have the same buckle, and I really like them. Really sturdy, they're signed, brushed nice, has a good prong. And then we have these little breathing holes, and they do a good job of making you not sweat too much. Here's the watch and my 7.5-inch wrist. That looks nice, that wears nice. Since the case back curves, it sits nice and flat on the wrist. I have 5 notches left, so the strap is plenty big. So you might be able to wear this with a 9-inch wrist. So really happy with the strap. Very comfortable watch. Here we are in the loom room. Of the 60 plus Pagani Design watches I've reviewed, all but a few exceptions have had terrible loom. So let's see what we have here. As we speed up the time, we see the tiny dots of a skeletonized dial, but they're a little bit better than what I was expecting. This loom does have some legs to it, but unfortunately the tip of the minute hand appears to be a bit weaker than everything else. Still not bad loom for a Pagani Design, but not good loom. What I like about this watch, it looks and wears nice. It's a true skeleton watch. It doesn't have fake gears and stuff. And I really like this rubber strap. It feels great, very comfortable. What are my gripes and groans? I don't like the plastic on the side of the watch. It just looks cheap. There's a ton of reflection on this sapphire crystal. And it has 23 millimeter lug width. So if you do want to put this on a different type of strap, good luck with that. Do I recommend this watch? Sure. It looks and wears great, which is the #1 criteria for a watch. So, yeah. And plus, Mrs. Watchdog really likes it and wanted to know if I wanted to keep it. I told her, I'm sorry, I can't afford to keep this. It was $100. I need to sell it so I could buy more watches to review. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Pagani Design PD-YS018, and I will be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel, and if you like this watch, be sure to use my affiliate link, and I'll get a decent commission because this is a $100 watch. Bye.